All right, bottom left, we have Dark. Top left, we have Trigger. All right. Happy that we actually have something now. Looks like Trigger's going to go for a hatch box, and you probe that early. Of course, you have to send a second probe down to make your pylon. But yeah, Dark has several ways he likes to deal with this. Sometimes he goes offensive hatch. Sometimes he makes his hatch his third. Sometimes he sends the drone to the third, then sends it back to make the hatch of the natural. Dark is willing to take the bad end of this sometimes. To take the good end of it sometimes. So watch, he'll walk it past. Which one will he do? It's like actually very hard to predict. Oh, and he just makes it. Third base. Okay. So that was our early game, guys. Now we wait for the cybernetics core to finish for the next portion of this game. Oh my gosh. It's true, though, isn't it? This is just part of what this is. Sorry, just broadcasting to the world that we're actually in a good matches now. It was kind of a slow start here today, unfortunately. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes we get some good matches early, sometimes we don't. It's a little bit of a tough juggle occasionally. So, the floating head casting could be the future of casting esports. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. You're right. Now, let's take a look here. The Obs is the worst. What are you even talking about? This is literally Mapu, who does every top event in the whole world. I don't even know what to tell you. Please name someone better than Mapu at observing. I'll wait. Now, the Stargate coming up, so, you know, Adept Oracle, obviously, we talk about this a lot. That's the greatest follow-up to blocking the hatchery, because you split where the drones are, and make it a lot harder to collectively defend with things like queens. So, very good stuff. I'm going to be able to pick off the sling. That's kind of nice. Nice little pick there. And, yeah, well, I mean, this is all very standard, very normal stuff, to be honest. There's nothing, like, too crazy or out of the ordinary. That one ling getting in is pretty annoying, I would say. Oh, God, he gets a probe up in the main. Oh, that's frustrating. And some lost mining time there. Hopefully he'll get that fixed ASAP. 5 lings already falling, though.
What? Anonymous donated $3.33. For real though, Artosis, everywhere I look I only see husks of human beings. You cannot imagine the profound loneliness of seeing many who act so alien. Thank you for being one of the few human beings on the internet. I really appreciate you.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate you realizing how fucked up everything is. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. And let's just all try to be real with each other.
Sloth Fan
Except
Club
for
donated
Clever StarCraft
$3.33.
Okay.
Sloth couldn't believe Artie said that Mapu was the better observer.
Okay, we're pausing donos after this.
Sloth got no respect. In Artie's eyes, he had lost to the toenail smoothie guy. The guy who likes to shove sharp brown toenails under his gums to clean his teeth.
That is so disgusting. Thank you, Sloth Fan Club. All right, guys, we're pausing donos, and we'll play them afterwards. Anyways, let's take a look at these actual builds. We have +1 melee coming out for Dark, so that's kind of cool. That tells us a lot about what he has planned going forward. So when you see +1 melee like this, first off, there's nothing particularly wrong with going quick +1 melee. I think it's a good build, especially against Stargate. It makes your Ling harassment a bit better, but it also sets you up for +2 Banelings. So no matter what, we will see Banelings. Dark loves to send in Baneling assaults against probes after +2 is done, because it one-shots probes at that point. Very, very strong. And this is a very quick fleet beacon. So this could end up being one of those builds where you see like 2 fast carriers come out and a follow-up of gateway units. Obviously, it could be something like just getting into Void Rays. It could just be straight carriers from here, although that, again, it's more popular right now to get 2 carriers, switch into gateway, and switch back into carrier. That's actually a pretty popular move right now. Now, the first carrier gets started. So yeah, I do think that that's what this is going to be. By the way, Dark getting some good, solid harassment there. Gets a probe, gets out. I love this type of move, though, right? Like, Trigger parries it pretty quickly. But this is the type of stuff where you're active, you're picking off one unit, you're getting out of there. Dark seems to be pretty on top of stuff right now. Now, the 2 carriers are being made. Let's see if a Twilight goes down. This is what'll tell us what's going on. 2 more gases are taken. Are we going to see a Twilight? The Twilight will start any second now if he's going to, you know, go into those gateway units that we were talking about before. But again, he could just go Sky Toss from here. That's not a popular move, but it could happen. He might just go 2 Stargate carriers. Oh, there it is. There's a Twilight. So that makes more sense in my brain, at least, right? This is again, a style that's become a bit more popular. Hero did it a little bit in GSL. Earlier this year, we saw it some at Gamers 8. And it actually, this strategy, I'm going to say, originates with SOS. He's the original founder of this, where you make 2 carriers super fast, send them across the map, and follow up with a gateway-based attack. He did it with Adepts, and it was years ago. And now we're seeing a resurgence of it, led primarily by Hero, if I'm not mistaken on that. So, kind of cool stuff. Anyways, the idea behind this, guys, is you get across with the carriers, and they're so early, and you just power down some queens. You know, do what you can with them. It's kind of like, almost like BCs, right? If you go quick battle cruiser or something like that. A little bit like that. Not exactly. So here they come. That was a great surround by Dark, by the way, with that +1 melee to kill off 4 Stalkers and an Adept trying to take the 4th base. Very, very annoying. Now, up come the carriers. Look at this. Okay, so he's picking off a lot of drones. Look at that. That's super solid damage. He's taking a lot from that Spore. That's not how you want to do it, obviously. That's going to make it a lot harder for him to make anything actually work here. So this was, I would say that this was actually poorly executed by Trigger, despite the fact that so far he's killed 8 drones, a Queen, and a Spore. I would still say that this was slightly poorly executed, right? Like, if you keep that out of... if you keep your carrier out of the Spore distance, you probably kill all 3 of these Queens as well, right? In fact, for sure you do, looking at the amount of damage he's done here. So, you know, Dark's going to come up with his Spores. He is going to deal with these carriers. He actually ends up killing the Queens. That's insane. Dude, just run that home. Just run that home. It's not worth whatever damage you get from here. Okay, so that... at the end of the day, it does well for Trigger still. But, again, that had even more potential than what we saw here. Now, this is a big Ling counterattack. This has some potential. Oh, wow. Okay, that was actually funny. The Adept moved itself in the back because it was slightly overlapping with the gateway that was told to build. So that actually became dangerous for a moment. The Lings could have slipped in, but Dark wasn't looking at them anymore. Didn't expect a mistake like that. Anyways, Storm is almost done. Blink is almost done. +1 is almost done. We have Infestors on the way here. The +2 melee is done, but I haven't seen the Baneling Nest. So that's kind of interesting, right? He is getting Adrenal. He's getting Carapace. We're going towards Ultra. So this is actually very cool, the way that Dark is taking this game. Like, obviously, this is a newer aged build that's being re-refined right now that Trigger's doing, and that makes it exciting. But I'm getting a little bit of chills right now from Dark. To see that he's going 3-1 with Adrenal, Burrow, and Infestor into the Ultralisk Cavern before the Baneling Nest, because I was so sure about the Baneling Nest, because that's normally what you do when you rush +1 melee and into +2 melee. But look at this. Like, when you get Adrenal and you have +2, your Lings are going to kill everything, man. They're insanely good. What a strategy from Dark. And now getting into those Ultras as well. I mean, on creep, he's going to be very hard to fight against. We don't have any good anti-Ultra units here. Ultras are generally good against High Templars, against Stalkers, against Zealots, against Adepts, right? You really want Immortals. You know, Archons can do okay. Obviously, You know, like a Void Ray does well against it. But yeah, like, I'm feeling pretty cool about the way Dark is playing this. This is exciting me in a way I don't feel as often in this matchup, right? Like, a lot of ZVPs look really similar, but this is super neat. All right, the Ling harassment continues. Some Zealots get warped in just to clean those up. Very annoying stuff. I hope that's yeah, it is a cannon he's making there, so that's good. You do want to maybe reinforce that front entrance. You can see Dark keeps poking it. He knows he's going to get in there eventually and deal some massive damage. So anyways, 4 infestors. They have neural. They have pathogen glands. You know, we have a bunch of ultras. We are getting Baneling speed finally. Chitinous is almost done. +3 melee is almost done. +2 carapace just now starting. Lots of Archons being added in, which is absolutely needed here. That's funny that you even have to turn on overcharge there, but that's how strong the Lings are at the moment. Double Robo being made. So he's going to be into triple Robo here. I think he forgot he has a Robo right now, by the way. Okay, so you can see once again attacking into here, and he's like starting to bomb the wall a little bit as well. Dude, this is crazy. This is exciting. The Oracles actually can do a lot here with the energy that they have. Dude. What a fucking killer. Are you kidding me? So he just neural parasited while underground, 1 High Templar, feed back to the rest. What a sick move from Dark. What a sick move. By the way, we need a Dark Shrine out here for Trigger. These types of attacks that we're seeing, a Dark Shrine is super, super helpful against. 3 Immortals being made right now, more Archons, another Carrier. The Lings are absolutely everywhere. The damage isn't too high yet, but we're really close to it getting too high. Like, see this? 2+3 Adrenalines in this mineral line. And look at this, 13 probe kills. Insane. Zergling, good unit. By the way, the StarCraft 2 Zergling is massively nerfed from StarCraft 1. I just want you guys to think about that for a moment. And it's still one of the best units in this game. Holy crap. All right, nice block there from Trigger. Really excellent, excellent block. He is going up to a 5th base. Nice little Ultra Ling run in here, but gets caught. A lot of Ultras. Hilarious. The Immortal even dies there really, really quickly. And you can see that just in general, like again, the unit set that Trigger went for doesn't really counter Ultras. That's why he went for the 3 Robo Immortal at this point. Archons coming up will help out against that, as we know from the Legacy of the Void cinematic. Baneling's coming in, dealing with those Zealots. And you know what? Trigger is holding tight. I think a lot of Protoss would have already broken. Like, Dark has been attacking 2-3 locations in rapid succession for the last, like, 4 minutes. And Trigger really parried all of them pretty well. Like, it wasn't perfect everywhere, but he did a good job on it. You got to give him that. Now we're getting up to an actual pretty scary-looking army. I think these Infestors are going to be really, really useful here. He is starting to add in quite a few Roaches. It's +3 carapace on the way, but only +1 ranged. But actually, there's no armor upgrades for Protoss, so that's okay that he doesn't have great plus ranged attack upgrades yet. But I got to tell you, like, anytime these Lings can actually attack, they are just destroying. With 0 armor upgrades against +3 Adrenal, it's just so insane how much damage they do. The Lings are madness right now. All right, a lot of Archons coming down. Trigger trying to get some damage in here. Love to see it. Mass Queen's over on the other side, kind of holding this off. The Oracle's chasing away some Ultras. Does force a cancel on that base of Darks. So Dark right now is on 7 base, technically. Don't think he has many drones at that 7th base as of yet, but, you know, 7 base is quite a bit. But Trigger on 5 is going to be fine. We have some nice harassment here. Just sending in some charge lots, going after the drones. Obviously, they can't do anything against the Ultras or even the Lings at this point. But the upgrades of Dark are substantially better than the upgrades here of Trigger. What an awesome game we're looking at. Truly. Now, here we go. Fungal into the Biles. Really excellent. Really excellent. Pops 3 Archons there with just like 1 spell and a few cooldowns of some cooldowns. That's Kewl downs from those Ravagers. Ooh. Now, all this attacking Dark's doing, it feels like it's starting to do a bit more damage. I'm actually, oh yeah, that was the prism that flew in there. Yeah, we saw that before. It's like, wait, how'd that get in there? Oh, yes. But yeah, still, you know, Trigger's trying to get a little bit of damage here and there. Ooh, that's an excellent location. Hopefully he can get something in there. We still don't have a Dark Shrine, by the way. Again, I think a Dark Shrine a few minutes ago would have been fantastic for defense and harassment. Oops. Immortal out in the middle of nowhere. That's always kind of sad to see. Prism being caught here finally. That's too bad because Trigger, this is probably the thing that we can say that is his weakest point, is getting his prisms out there. He uses prisms probably less than any other top Protoss. All right, the you know, the Ultras come in and they kill some probes. Dude, the cracklings are insane. Plus, again, +3 Adrenal against 0 plasma upgrades, plasma shields, 0 armor upgrades. It's just absolutely crazy. And look at that, 28 probes killed with 3 Banelings. LOL. Here we go. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That thing costs 50/50 and it can kill 28 probes. My God, it's silly. Okay, so more Infestors on the way, Spire on the way, more Immortals on the way. Yeah, Trigger does kind of have to get out there at this point, I think. It doesn't, like, he's technically making his army better. Like, he is still making high-tech units and adding them. But it doesn't feel like he's going to hit some sort of army where you're like, this is unkillable, right? It doesn't feel like he's outscaling Dark in that way, which sometimes you get. Like, for instance, if Dark was on a comp that looked like what he has now, and you're going Sky Toss, as you add to that Sky Toss army, you're going to probably be looking at that and saying, yeah, he's going to outscale him to the point where he just wins. Again, it doesn't look like that with the Archon Immortal, right? Dark has enough tools and his upgrades are good enough that it does feel like he can kind of fight against this. See, the Fungal's doing a fantastic job. Very few High Templars actually mixed in here. Does have a probe there, probably accidentally. Trigger still trying to block all the harassment from Dark. Like, you can just see how crazy it is with these Banes. That's so funny. The cannon shoots one and dies, so the other one gets by. Oh. See, this is what Dark has been aiming for this entire game, is just peeling him apart like this. We have Lings in the main. We have Lings killing the third. And it's just too much at this point. Trigger is going to fall apart. Like, he's trying so hard right now to keep everything going. And, like, he's still got a high-quality army. Look at that. Targeting down the High Templar with a couple Neurals. Some Storms upon those to steal his units back. Oh, good Fungals. My God. Yeah, you see, the army has been whittled down so much at this point. The Fungals have been amazing. His army is fragmented, which is allowing the Zerglings to get good surface area. 7 Ultras on the way, and he's lost most of his Immortals. This game is over. Trigger will GG in a moment. You'll see. Watch. It's coming. Good transfusions. Yeah, Ling Scan on top of absolutely everything. Nothing left here for Trigger. He knows it. He's just dead. GG. Cool game, though. Very, very cool game. Very, very cool game, that one. I loved what we saw from Dark. I think Trigger played a very nice game as well. His defense was very good for a while. Didn't scale up into an unbeatable army. And when he was trying to put pressure towards the front, because if you're not scaling to like a Sky Toss based army, you do have to put pressure on. When he was doing that, Dark started out playing him with Link counterattacks and things. I think against most Zergs, Trigger's game would have been fine there. Against Dark and Raynor, that's where he's going to fall a little bit short. Wait, you never get armor or shield upgrades? The game was pretty fast-paced at that point, right? He was going attack upgrades first, which makes sense. Also, don't forget Protoss upgrades don't scale as well as upgrades for the other races. Just to mention. Especially in Brood War, but slightly in StarCraft too. So we'll be going into game number 2 here. It's just about to start. Here we go. Grasvon, going to be map number 2. It's going to be a tough one for Trigger. It's a big, big map. I think he's got to go Sky Toss here if he wants to have a chance. He can't even spell job, man. Mapu took great offense. Great offense to the guy talking shit in the chat. All right. Anyways, that was a good game number 1. I really enjoy watching Trigger come up, by the way. There's something about it, watching it and being like, you got to know Dark is respecting this guy at this point, right? 4 months ago, Trigger wasn't really on the radar of any of the Koreans. At this point, he's pretty much beaten all of them, at least somewhat, right? Obviously, he's not a super top-level foreigner yet, but honestly, 2024... maybe even later this year, I could see Trigger having some good results at some of the bigger events. He's legit very, very good at this point. So, anyways, you know, Dark has gotten down his natural expansion, exactly where he wants it. And we wait for the cybernetic score, because that's how this works. Will there be any StarCraft 2 events in 2024? Yes. There will be StarCraft 2 events in 2024. Well. You know, I had this joke when I was in Riyadh, and I went up and told it to, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, it was Zombie Grub and Wardy were sitting there. And I go, hey, why was Seven afraid of gamers? And they sat there, and Wardy goes, because gamers ate 9. And I was like, damn, dude, you're good. That's when I knew Wardy was a true bro. So, we have the Stargate opener here once again. But the natural expansion, the closer expansion, is the first one that that Dark has. So it makes it harder to get damage, right? You want those expansions split because you have to heavily drone the first hatchery that finishes, right? So if the first hatchery that finishes is at your third base, you have a lot of drones at your third and a lot of drones at your main. and the travel time for Adepts and Oracles between those spots is the quickest of all units in the early game. So that's why you want to split those hatcheries when you're going to do some harassment with this. You're more likely to get that additional damage. The queens can't centralize. They can't go back and forth. Here, it's going to be a lot harder for him to get any damage. And in fact, I don't even know if he's going to really commit Adepts out there. He may just keep Adepts at home, try to get... Like, look, how many Adepts does he even have, honestly? It's not as much as we've seen previously. So, Dark is more able to drone as he wants. He's less likely to lose many units. Right? And, you know, these things add up. Dude, that was fucking sick. Oh my god, he still gets the probe. That was almost the greatest. He was like spam clicking that probe to keep it back there. So anyways, yeah, I wanted to mention that about the way that this game is setting up. Very good economy for Dark. He is going for that +1 melee again. What are we going to see in just a moment here? Twilight. So not the double Stargate here again. Twilight plus Forge. Most certainly Blink. Now, is this going to be like super Gateway Man heavy Blink with a 4th base, like Heroes, you know, original Gateway style? Or is he going to go into Robos right away? Right? Or, I mean, we have seen other variations. We've seen 4th base and Storm. 4th base and Storm can be a little bit weaker when you're going up against like a more Roach-heavy composition, but as we can see at least, this is going to be a Ling-heavy composition. And Trigger may already have that kind of idea in his head. So, honestly, the 4th base Storm could be a very, very good call here if he decides to go for that. Whereas if you're playing against someone that's going Roach Ravager, which is actually more Dark style oftentimes, not this time, but oftentimes, not last game either, but, you know, he's a Roach bro. You know, then you can get in trouble for it. So I'm going to be interested to see what Trigger thinks it's going to be and how he's going to react to that. So there's the Robo. All right, this is starting to tell us double gas, so he's certainly going Robo splash damage here. Without any doubt. He'll be throwing down probably a support bay and a second Robo, I would bet you. Might go Colossus here, honestly. Based on what he scouted, it's like a very late layer and everything. Really not a bad move. Good tag. Didn't see the Roach Warren as of yet. Yeah, we're going to see in just a moment. There's that 4th base. Yeah, some shield battery and cannon edge on the way. Spire coming up for Dark. I like the Spire. I'm a big fan of the Spire. I think mutas are underused in this matchup, honestly. I like that Spire very, very much. The Oracle's coming back in. A little bit of harassment, a little bit of scouting going on. Hey, not too bad. Not too bad with those picks. We'll give him that. And he actually didn't go second Robo. Instead, he is going in Templar Archives. That's kind of interesting. I think that means Disruptor then, right? No, I think he will make one Colossus. Like, I mean, with the amount of Lings running around, they already have +1. Like, you want Colossus. Normally, you make Colossus in pairs of 2. Normally, you don't go one Robo Colossus in this matchup because the window for Colossus is very, very tight against Zerg. For instance, like, I mean, obviously, Corruptors could be a counter against it. You know, Mass Banelings can be a counter. More likely, going into Hive and utilizing Vipers, that's like the ultimate counter. But, yeah, generally, people like double Robo Colossus against Zerg so that you can pop 2 out or 4 out and then hit immediately. Right? So that's interesting to me that he's going one Robo Colossus. Because one Colossus is okay, but if you're getting Thermalance, that automatically tells us you're going to get at least 2. And look at this, 17 mutas on the way. So I like Dark's position very much more here. Right? Dark's position, to me, looks a lot better. Obviously, this is hinged upon how well he utilizes these Mutalisks, but Trigger doesn't have the right army to play against Mutaling Bane. Now, we need Baneling's speed upgrade, and we need a lot of mutas being made. And so what you do in this type of situation when your opponent's anti-air is going to be Archon Stalker, they have to mass that for a bit, and they have to make a composition that your mutas can't touch, and then it turns into a base race, and then you whittle it down, right? So that's kind of how this game probably should go. Now the muta's flying into the natural. The Archon's going to come through. This is a great patch, by the way, to allow Archons through that type of wall. And look at this, just jumps on a bunch of Stalkers warping into the main base. We don't have a shield battery up here, so that's extremely painful. Baneling's just marching in no Baneling speed. We were talking about that earlier. If he has Baneling speed there, that's a lot more damage. The Muta's getting insane amounts of damage done. There is a Phoenix on the way. Honestly, the Phoenix isn't going to do anything. You can't get enough Phoenix quickly enough here. Look at this. Look at this. Dude, the amount of damage from these mutas is absurd. He's going to have his +1. He's got more mutas on the way. 48 probes against 83 drones. Yeah, it's looking pretty bad for Trigger right now. So, again, let's talk about win scenarios here for Trigger. Okay, again, it's too late to go into Phoenixes. Way too late. That's why I was kind of like, why is he making a Phoenix? But maybe it's just kind of a panic moment. So what you want to do is you want to make an army that the mutas literally can't touch. So once you get to like a critical mass of Archon Stalker, right? If he gets up to like 20 Stalkers, 6 Archons, something like that, like mutas just can't really attack that, because when they clump enough to actually deal damage to the Stalkers with reasonable speed, the Archons will destroy them. So at that point, you can attack when you want as Protoss, but the Zerg should turn it into a base race. So if you go down this route as Protoss, you have to bring probes with you, because you're going to lose everything at home. So let's see if it actually turns into that. The mutas right now split into a couple groups. These mutas trying to kill an Archon. They do. Imagine if there was a second one there, they wouldn't have. He actually gets rid of the Templar Archives. Very smart big brain move there from Dark. Trying to fly away from these Stalkers. More mutas coming in. Dude, the amount of damage is just crazy. Like, Dark's trying to win just completely straight up with these mutas. And it looks like he is very likely able to do it. Gets on top of everything here. All the other Stalkers way out of position. He has taken some damage, but he's maxed out during all this. Going after more probes now. Dark really looking strong this game. Now, unfortunately, the Archon count, since the last time we were talking about it, has gone down by 2, while the Stalker count has gone up. Honestly, we need 2-3 more Archons, and then probably Trigger just moving out and trying to kill every base and get Dark onto no economy. That is... Oh, dude. There's a chance he just GGs or something, too. Look at this. He's, like, blinking down trying to chase, but he needs the Archons with the Stalkers. It's 41 mutas right now. 41. He's lost 28. Dude, it's almost 100 supply of mutas. Sounds silly, doesn't it? Gets rid of... Oh, man. Gets rid of the Cybernetics Core. He's only now getting his first +1 carapace upgrade. That's kind of funny. But yeah, he's just killing so much. Trigger having a terrible time here. Didn't feel like Trigger was super optimized this game. But you can see also, by the way, with this game, why I'm a big fan of Spire in this matchup. I think mutas are way underrated. You can see what someone can actually end up doing with them if Protoss makes any mistake. GG. Just magic boxes everything and destroys. Just nasty play from Dark. Really superbly done. Gang gang.